Over the last 5 years, many companies have embraced change and focused on building a culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion. But such undertakings can feel daunting for leaders trying to make a real difference. Two local authors and experts in the DEI space say it's about small daily actions. Pate and Jonathan Stutz join me right now. Thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes. So, Jonathan, we'll start with you. Why is this conversation so important?
This conversation is critical because right now, especially right now in our country, the conversation around diversity, equity, inclusion, or what we call inclusion, diversity, and equity, we really bring forward the inclusion aspect of it, has been hijacked. The story is not what's being told today isn't what it really is all about. It's about building high-performing teams, highly effective teams, where each person feels seen, heard, valued, and understood. And we can really create these high-performance teams by each person feeling connected and valued to their manager, to the people that they work with around them. So it's a critical conversation. What you're hearing out there in the media is oftentimes slanted quite differently from what it's about. It's not a zero-sum game. Everybody wins when we do this right.
Oh, I really like that. Everybody wins. And you also have another phrase in there that I was seeing as the theme, building a culture of belonging, which you kind of already touched on. Tell me what that looks like.
Right. A culture of belonging is, again, when you're trying to build this high-performance team, you want everyone to feel they can contribute and take risk and feel they can be their authentic selves. So the idea is that when you have this culture of belonging, everybody's able to speak openly, speak up, speak their truth, and then you're getting all these different ideas and perspectives on the table. We're dealing with some of the most difficult, challenging, complex problems today, and no one person has the answer. If you think about artificial intelligence or climate change, we really need all hands on deck, and these are global issues. So having people with different perspectives and backgrounds to join in that conversation and be heard and getting what they need is really critical to the conversation.
And it's critical to the success of a company, right? To be able to do that.
And you both obviously wrote this book together. So Eddie, why was that important to collaborate together on this book?
Well, it goes back to what Jonathan was just saying. When you match different perspectives and thoughts, and actually even different voices that we have and how we talk about ID&E and what we do, it was almost a practice in the practice of inclusion, diversity, and equity, right? It's about bringing what Jonathan brought in terms of his leadership background, his educational background with leadership, his experience, his lived experiences, and then marrying those with my lived experiences being biracial and having some of the experiences I've had growing up, and then in the leadership roles I've had for the various companies in this area. It just seemed right to be able to merge those voices into daily practices of inclusive leaders.
Definitely. And Eddie, you stressed that this is a daily practice, obviously look at the title, and the use of visual small pebbles. So what are some of the daily practices that you've seen or you yourself have seen with an inclusive leader?
Yeah, and what I'll start very quickly is just so everyone understands the whole notion of daily pebbles, right? If you think about someone dropping a pebble, it causes a ripple. Mm-hmm. And that ripple causes someone else to drop a pebble, which causes a ripple, and causes someone else to drop a pebble and causes ripple, and so on. And it's the aggregation, Kelly, of all those small actions or activities that leads to systemic and cultural change. It's not three big things that we can do. What are the small little things we can do every day? So for example, and we often talk about, we have ones that we really like to do. I like talking about spend your privilege. So that's something that someone in a situation who has privilege and advantage because of who they are, very simply because of who they are. If a man is a leader of an organization where women are not, given as many opportunities, maybe the next time that person's supposed to speak, why not encourage and have the woman or the person who's underestimated speak so they get visibility? Simple thing like that could cause a ripple throughout the organization. We love this notion of the pause button. It's really very practical, and it's this idea that you're in a meeting and you see something, you hear something that is not quite right, and oftentimes we're not sure we want to stop the conversation, and by the time you want to or you think what you're going to say, it's gone, and you've missed that moment. And it's this process where everyone agrees to that you just say, hey, I need to hit the pause button for a second because I think there's something that we're missing or we're not talking about. And what that does is it takes the pressure of having senior level people in the room, so there may be some leadership dynamics for you, or you may be a junior level person who normally doesn't speak up, but this is a process that everyone agrees to, and then that's how you slow down, have the discussions, and point out, what, that wasn't quite right. So even simple things like that can then cause ripples, and the next meeting someone else might use the pause button, or someone else might spend their privilege for someone else. So those are a couple of examples.
It's so true too when you feel, we've all been in a meeting where we might have been, someone speaks over us or something. So I love all of what you just said.
And women face that quite a bit.
Yes, I was going to mention that.
And studies show that women face it much more frequently than men.
Oh my gosh. And so who should read this book? Who will benefit from reading this book?
So this book is about leaders and people managers, but it's also about anybody who's passionate about creating a culture of belonging where everyone feels included, everybody feels they can contribute. So it's oftentimes leaders, but it's also people like us, diversity professionals, many folks who do our work, and we really are building on much of the great work that has been done, and so we're just adding to it as a legacy of the work we've done over our combined 50 years of experience at Amazon, Microsoft, Zulily, and all. So and then I think just folks who are interested in their community and want to create connection with other folks to have them really feel that they getting to know people at a deeper level, so you see them as an individual and not as some stereotype based upon some narrow perception you have of them. So we talk about expanding your circle. We call it who's in your kitchen. Intimate being one of the most intimate places in the home. Who are you spending time in your kitchen with? Are there people different from yourself? So creating this culture of belonging means intentional about expanding your circle and getting to know people so that everyone feels they belong.
Thank you to you both so much for being here. Such an important conversation.